Good morning from my lounge slash kitchen and Happy New Year. It is the 1st of January 2026 here in New Zealand. Some of you it might still be 2025, so I'm speaking to you from the future. This morning I decided to make some pancakes for breakfast. This is my favorite pancake recipe. I think probably some people would call them hot cakes. So they're a thicker pancake, nice and light and fluffy, and you can stack them up. Pour maple syrup over, serve them with bacon, you can put Nutella on them. Okay, first up I have about 5 tablespoons of melted salted butter. I just melted this in the microwave and I've just let it cool a little bit. So I've got that to start with in my bowl. And to this I'm going to add 1 egg. These are the best pancakes that I have found in terms of the recipe. They always work out really nice and light and fluffy, but the key really is to make sure that you let the batter sit for at least half an hour before you actually cook them. I think that's the key to get them really nice and light and fluffy. Okay, to this mixture, I'm now going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. You could omit the sugar, or sometimes I like to half it. Depending on what we're going to put on top, they don't need to be too sweet. But today, because it's a special occasion, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of sugar and give that another mix. Next, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence or vanilla extract, whatever you have at home. Here at our household, we were all in bed before 10 last night, which is the way I actually like it these days. I'm certainly not a New Year's Eve type of person anymore, but it's always nice to have a nice meal early in the evening and then just get off to bed and then get up early, enjoy the first of the new year. And now I'm going to add some milk. So I need 1 1/4 cups of milk. I'll start with the 1/4 cup. This is whole milk, but you can use a milk alternative if you like. Coconut milk, oat milk, soy milk, whatever kind of milk you like to use in your household. Give that a final mix. Now we're going to add the dry ingredients. So we need to add 1 1/2 cups of plain flour and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I'm going to do the flour first. And then just straight on top of the flour, I'm going to add that 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I always get like a really big bag of baking powder and then I just put it into a container because I go through it quite quickly. Just those small containers just don't last me. So I always just put it into a big container like this one. Okay, so we've got 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Then I'm just going to swap over to a whisk. Don't over mix it. You want it to be mixed, combined, but it's okay if you still see little specks of flour in there. If you over mix it, that's when your pancakes can get rubbery and tough. So we just want to make sure it's well mixed, but not overdone. Okay, that's totally fine. I'll show you what it looks like. So you can probably still see a few little specks of flour or some little lumps, but don't worry, it all comes out perfectly once you cook them. Okay, so I'm going to give this a cover and I'm going to leave it for half an hour and then we're going to come back and we're going to add some blueberries to half of it and some chocolate chips to the other half. Okay, see you shortly. My pan has preheated, it's on medium heat, and I've just put a little bit of butter just on the bottom, just with a paper towel, just to grease it slightly, but you don't want to overdo the butter. I'm just using a small ladle and I'm going to try and get 3 pancakes into this. As soon as I put the first pancake in, I've just turned the heat down a little bit because you kind of want to get the bottom brown, but you don't want to burn it. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to let these cook. And you'll be able to see as it gets cooked around the outside and bubbles start to form on the top of the surface of the pancake, they'll be ready to flip over. Our blueberry pancakes look like they're ready to flip. So you can see around the edges that they've cooked and you can see some bubbles forming on the top. So these ones have joined a bit. So we'll just give that, we'll cut that through and then we're going to give these a flip. And they only need about a minute on the other side. I'm going to run a little bit more butter over the bottom of our pan And then our chocolate chip pancakes are gonna go in. I'm using that small ladle, so I'm gonna do one. Again, we're gonna let these cook until you can see that around the outside is starting to cook. And then there should be some bubbles forming on the top. The pancakes are done, I'm gonna plate them up. These are our chocolate chip pancakes. And here are our blueberries. What do you think? They look pretty good, huh? I'm gonna cut into them. There's our blueberry pancakes. Lots of big juicy blueberries in those ones. And then lots of yummy chocolate chips in those ones. I'm going to serve these with some strawberries, which are in season at the moment in New Zealand. I think normally during summertime we can get strawberries probably about as low as $2.99 New Zealand dollars. That's about as cheap as they get. So it's a really nice time to be able to enjoy fresh berries. My son can finish a whole punnet of blueberries, blackberries, strawberries. So it's nice that they're a little bit more reasonably priced at this time of year. I hope you enjoy the first of the new year. Try these pancakes, let me know what you think. I think a really nice thing to do maybe for the adults would be to leave some aside as well and do them with maple syrup and bacon and maybe even some grilled banana. That's how I really like to have them. Anyway, all the best for the new year and we'll see you next time. Bye.